Hey folks, alright, we're back working on the engine swap. I'll try to get as much done as I can. I'd love to get this knocked out. I want to go back to working on my roadster pickup. That's going to be the next thing we work on. Alright, Nana, you ready to get to work? Ready? Okay, so I'm going to show you the crude but easy way to make the mounts that was on this engine become where the mounts need to be for this engine. This is it. So what we're going to do, I need to space it out a little bit, so I'm going to measure that pump bolts, drill 2 holes, bolt this on, drill 2 holes in this where I need them, and we will weld that to that. And then when we take this off and we bolt it onto our other engine, our holes will be in the exact place they need to be, and then we'll build the mounts out to there. So really simple. Just you know, it's you can do a lot of measuring. You can measure back, you can measure the width, you can do all this measuring, and you know, you could still be off pretty easy. So this is going to be the easy way of doing this, just making a jig that matches what's here, bolting it over to here, and then building these mounts out to it on each side. Okay folks, here's what we've got. We've drilled and bolted on the bottom of the brackets, lower side, and got it drilled and bolted on the bracket for the pump. Now what we've got to do is run a bead through here to hold everything together, and we can take it off in one piece and bolt it directly to our plate for our pump there, and then we can make our mounts out to it, and it should work out just fine. And that way when we get ready to set the engine in, it will sit directly in. We're not going to have to do any test fitting and stuff like that. So, alright, let's get at her. Okay folks, got her on where it needs to be exactly. So this hole and this hole is actually exactly where this is at. So pretend like this is up through it, and we got to build a bracket to go from the bell housing to slide over top of this, just like it would if it was sitting in the machine. So we'll do that, and then that will ensure us that the engine's going to sit in, line up right. The distance from here to the pump's going to be right, the height is going to be right, and then we can adjust our front mounts from that. And I'm actually considering pulling this mount off and maybe throwing a bolt through it and putting it here just temporarily to see where it lands, and we might make plates and then weld them, you know, to bolt onto here and then weld them onto here. Okay, so I have decided that we're going to use these mounts. I'm going to bolt them to the bell housing, and then I'm going to weld them to the original mount. And I thought about bolting them to the mount itself, to these 4 holes, but I just decided against it because we really don't need it to be bolted there first, but second, there's way more of a chance of bolts coming loose than there is of a weld coming broke, and it only needs to come apart in one spot. So I think it's going to work out better in the long run if we grind this, clean it up good, put our plate in here, bolt it onto here with the 3 correct holes, and then we'll just weld it onto here really well. They won't go anywhere. That's going to line us up on our mounts. So that's what we're working on now. I'm cutting the plates out for the sides, and then I'm going to drill them, bolt them on, and then we'll clean up and start welding this stuff on there. And like I said, I still got to finish this up. Just hadn't got the piece of steel yet, or I hadn't cut out a piece yet. So we'll get her eventually, and just keep moving along with it. All right. Okay, folks. Here's what I've got. Made 2 plates that bolt on the side of the bell housing, and got them run up, and I've got our other plates bolted on. I think we're just going to weld it and get her done, and then once we take this brace off, you know, it'll all be in place and ready to, you know, finish up and sit in. But anyway, let me get it welded up and I'll show you exactly what I've done and how I've done it. Alright. Okay folks, so here's what we've got. It's welded up. You see the welds. You know, the main thing is to penetrate really well. The more heat, the better off you are without melting everything. But anyway, so what happens now, we unbolt this adapter plate I made here, and it can be thrown to the side and not ever used again for this anyway, and then we're done. I mean, with that particular part, I've got a little more welding to do on the bottom of them, but I think I'll take them off first before I do that. But let me take this adapter off, and then I'm going to explain to you the positives about this over what it had on it. All right, folks, here we go. Unbolted. Everything's still in place, just like it's supposed to be. Which I didn't think it was going to fall off. So anyway, the advantage I want to tell you about over the way this was set up. Okay, before, if you would have wanted to change that center joint, you would have had to pull the motor out, because this bell housing would have had to come off the mounts to get it out. And there is actually a plate below the pump that would have kept that bell housing from coming off. Now you can come out a little ways, but you couldn't come out, you know, no 4 or 5 inches like that one would have required. So the difference in this, the motor mounts are going to be separate from this end bell housing that we're making, and bolted, of course, to this one. So what's going to happen is this is going to be holding it in, and then you can still take this center bell housing out, take your pump off, slide it out, take the center out, and then change your flex joint if you needed to, and put it back together without having to pull the engine out, and just leaving the engine on the mounts in place. And that's one of the big advantages of having this separate from that. So anyway, you got, you know, when you're building stuff, you got to look at issues like that, service issues, something that engineers don't look at, that, you know, on these new cars that everybody complains about. This is the kind of stuff that you got to watch for when you're building something. Make it where it's easily worked on. That's, you know, just like I want to put the GM alternator on it. And the reason being is they're simple, they're easy, you can find them, you know, everywhere, they're cheap, you know, it's not a problem to get and put on. And it saves time and money in the long run. And, you know, it makes stuff easy to get to and easy to get on and off, like they used to do. You know, back when cars were were built better than what they're built now. Let's just put it that way. We'll leave it at that. But I think I'm going to work a little bit on closing this bell housing in some, and then I'll show you where I get to, and then we'll call this a video. And we'll pretty much have this backside ready. Now, because I had to do this welding and stuff, and because I'm welding this, I still haven't put my new joint in. I don't want to do that until, you know, we get this pretty much taken care of, and that way, you know, I don't have any chances on, you know, a ball of hot metal getting down on it and, you know, not destroying it, of course, but I'm more worried about it damaging it, and I don't want to have any problems with it. You know, it's $105, and hopefully it'll never have to be replaced again. You know, it just depends on, you know, how long this machine's around for, but I mean, I don't know what year it is, so it's hard to say. But anyway, let's get at this, closing this bell housing in. We'll get a little bit done on it, and maybe 2 or 3 pieces of it done, and then we're going to call it a day. I did get to go fishing last night. I was going to go today too, this evening, and this is Sunday, and I just decided not to. I wanted to work on this. I wanted to get some of this done, and it stormed a little earlier, and which is not a big deal to me, but my wife don't like to be out in the water, and she's a whole lot smarter than I am when it comes to that kind of stuff, you know. Men do stupid stuff. Women are there to protect men from killing themselves. It's probably why a lot of single guys end up dying, because they don't have any woman there to make them stop from doing stupid stuff. But anyway, I'm sure most of you understand that. And I've got an anniversary coming up this year. We're going to be married for 30 years, and she's put up with me for a long time, so I just got lucky and got a good one. But anyway, let's see what we can get done on this thing. All right. You know, if you want a cat to like you a whole lot, you just talk to it a bunch. And what you do is if you're talking to a cat, then people don't think you're crazy. If you talk to yourself, they think you're crazy. Isn't it right, Nana? Nana said, yeah, they won't think you're crazy at all. Alright folks, finished up for the night. Did some grinding, a little bit of welding. I don't have it all done, but we'll get back on it and knock it out, and then we'll start setting the engine in. So hopefully the next video we'll have the engine in the machine and start hooking everything up. Alright, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye, Shane.
Bye, Shane.
Say bye, Russell.
Bye.